Hi, future bureaucrats of India. Welcome to LearnStroke IAS Crack Prelims 2023, the current affairs questions discussion, where all the questions are sourced from the newspapers, magazine, etc. So let's go to the first question. Here we go. Consider the following statements regarding the recent news of the World Trade Organization or WTO. So recently, there was a news regarding India and WTO was in the news. Statement number 1. India cited the poor performance of the World Food Program, and India suggested that WTO permit export of food grains from public stocks for international food aid on government-to-government basis needs to be done. So India basically asked for the permission of WTO permit exports from government-to-government basis. Statement number 1. Statement number 2. The PSH, the Public Stock Holding Program, is a policy tool under which the government procures crops like rice and wheat from farmers at MSP. What is MSP? It's the minimum support price, and stores and distribute food grains to the poor. Two statements, and the options are 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 and 2. Which of the following statements are correct? So please check. If you have read the newspaper, try to solve this question. 1 or 2. Let's take the first statement. India cited the poor performance of the World Food Program. Yes, India did cited the poor performance of the World Food Program, which is a huge organization which supports people with food grains. But apparently the recent news said that taking into consideration the global humanitarian crisis, the World Food Program will not be enough to solve their problem. So in that regard, India requested the permission to export the food grains from the public stocks for international food aid for a government basis. Absolutely right. Statement 2. The PSH or the Public Stock Holding Program is absolutely right. Is a policy where the government procure crops like rice and wheat at MSP level. So both the statements are absolutely right. So answer is, let's check the answer. The answer is both 1 and 2 is the right answer. And let's see why this news came in the article. WTO should allow food exports from India public stock to help countries in need. So this was a new, many of you might not have known about the PSH or the Public Stock Holding. And let's see why there is another article, cannot tread path of trade on empty stomach. So let's find the explanation. Let's know something about the World Food Program. Largest humanitarian organization. I said largest humanitarian organization, and it's headquartered in Rome, Italy. Was created in 1961, and after in 1961, it became a full-fledged UN program. And why it is in the news? Because the data suggests that the program only procured 4.47 million tons at a cost of about 1.7 billion US dollars, which is grossly inadequate in the interest of the humanitarian crisis. So that was the reason why India, came forward to export its item from the PSH. What is PSH? Public Stock Holding Program. And what is MSP? So find more about MSP, minimum support price. So normally you know that minimum support price are much higher than the relative prices of prevailing market rates, and the government takes it as a benefit to the farmers and then sells at lower prices, so that ensuring food security for over 800 people in India. So that is how it goes. So find out what you mean by MSP, and this is why the article is important in this regard. So read more about WTO and India, and read more about the World Food Program and what you mean by MSP. Moving on to the next question, here we go. Consider the following statements regarding India's oil consumption, which is in the news. India gets huge quantities of oil from Russia, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia. 1. Venezuela, one of the big oil countries, is India's top supplier and has long-going issues of high freight cost. Statement number 2. Statement number 3. After the US and China, India is the world's third largest consumer of oil, out of which 85% of oil is imported. Which of the following statements are right? So let's see the options. A. 1 only, B 2 only, C 1 and 3, and D 3 only. Which of the following statements are right? Let's see. India gets huge quantities of oil from Russia, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia. Yes, they are one of the top suppliers. And which is the largest and which is the second? It keeps changing according to the current affairs trend. So while you write this exam in 2023, it may or may not be true. So it depends upon the current affair. But as of now, Venezuela is India's top supplier of oil. Statement number 2 is wrong. Statement 1 is right. Statement 2 is wrong because as of now, it is not Venezuela in the league. Iraq is topping as the largest supplier of oil, and that is why it is important. And after the US and China, India is the world's third largest consumer of oil. Absolutely right. That statement is true. Almost 85% of the oil is imported. So statement number 3 is right. And let's check the answers. The answer is 1 and 3. The second option is wrong. You know why? And why this article came? Russia overtakes Saudi Arabia to become India's second biggest oil supplier. So it is Iraq, Russia, and Saudi Arabia for the time being. It can change. And why this is in the article is because Russian oil is in demand. You know that Russia, the countries have put sanctions on Russia. That means nobody is buying, and this is the time when India used this opportunity and India is buying a lot of oil. So Russia overtakes Saudi Arabia. Russian oil is in great demand, and in spite of the sanctions imposed on Russia. So that was how this question was important. Let's go to the next question. The third question, consider the following statement regarding monkeypox. It's in the news. What is monkeypox? 3 statements. Statement number 1, monkeypox can spread through direct skin-to-skin contact with lesions during sexual activities and can spread the virus. So it can transmit from direct skin-to-skin contact through sexual activities. Number 1. Number 2, the virus is closely related to the virus that caused smallpox and has 2 important variants or clades called as the Central African clade and the West African clade. Statement number 2. Statement number 3, though the virus first was noticed in the animals, it cannot spread from animals to humans. It cannot spread from animals to humans. Which of the following statements are correct? 1 and 2, 2 only, 3 only, and 1, 2, and 3. Let's check the options. Option number 1, monkeypox can spread through direct skin-to-skin contact and create lesions during sexual activity. Statement 1 is absolutely right. So statement 1 is right. The virus is closely related to the virus of smallpox, right? And it has 2 clades or 2 variants called as the Central African and West African. Correct statement. Statement number 3. The virus was first noticed among the monkeys, probably right. And it cannot be spread from animals to human, false. It can be spread from animals to humans. Probably it also has a possibility like that. So what is the answer? The answer is 1 and 2. The third statement was false. And why this news is coming, you can just check it. Is monkeypox a sexually transmitted disease or infection? That is also a debatable question. Maybe you cannot, whether it is called as a sexual disease or not is a debate that you need to know. And let's see one of the important explanations for that. The Europe as of June 8 is having more than 1,000 cases of monkeypox. And it is most often reported among men having sex with men. They have higher risk, and bisexual men, they have higher risk, and that doesn't mean that monkeypox only comes to men who have sex with men. No, MSM is not the one reason. And you can also catch monkeypox if you get in close contact with someone who has monkeypox. So you can also get the virus like that. And it can also spread through respiratory droplets. And when you use the bedding towels of the person who has monkeypox. And monkeypox can spread from a person that comes from an infected animal. That is also possible. When you get a rash from the animal, that can also be possible. So animals can be a transmitter. And the virus can even spread from the placenta from the mother to her fetus. It can also happen that way. So monkeypox is actually coming. So please read more about this statement and read more about monkeypox and how it can actually cause a problem for humanity. So find that. Moving on to the next important question. The fourth question. The Ramsay Hunt syndrome appeared in the news. Which of the following statements are correct? The Ramsay Hunt syndrome happened. Which of the following are the right statements? A. It is a syndrome that gives a belief that different people are in fact the same people. You get the sensation that different people are the same person. And option B. This is a rare condition that causes people to develop a foreign accent. All suddenly you have a foreign accent, you started speaking in an American or a British or an Irish or even the Russian accent. It is caused by damage to a part of the brain. C. This involves psoriasis-like symptoms in the mouth, which creates a large reference and the large painful lesions in the tongue. Option D. This is caused by the varicella zoster virus and causes facial paralysis, which creates ear abnormalities, ringing sound in the ears, hearing loss, etc. There is a reason why this question was asked. It is current affair, obviously. And the answer is what? A, B, C, D. The answer is D. This is the varicella zoster virus that causes facial paralysis. And why this is important, why this news appeared? What is Ramsay Hunt syndrome? This was the disorder that affected the world famous singer Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber, the singer, actually released a photograph in which he has a facial disorientation. You can see that this is a facial paralysis. His face was having a facial paralysis. So Justin Bieber caught this. That is why Ramsay Hunt syndrome is important. So why? It is a neurological disorder. Varicella zoster virus is creating it. It creates facial paralysis and also ear loss of hearing, and it creates a ringing sound like tinnitus in the ears, and it is not considered to be a permanent condition. But where else you must have heard about the Bell's palsy. The Bell's palsy is also cause of facial muscle weakness. When you compare, it is different from Bell's palsy and the syndrome. The Ramsay Hunt syndrome was the person who identified this. So both of them are different. The patients of Bell palsy basically show full recovery, but the people with Ramsay Hunt syndrome comparatively shows less recovery. So it's a severe recovery, it's a severe paralysis, and it says that only 70% of patients with Ramsay syndrome regained normality, and compared to the 90% of people who had the Bell's palsy. So all this is basically a facial paralysis. So that was a current affair question. Justin Bieber caught it. Let's move to the next important question. Last question of crack prelims. Consider the following statements regarding the proposal of Ramsar site additions. So there is a particular reason. The 75th year of independence is coming, and 75 random Ramsar convention sites. They want to make the Ramsar convention sites to 75. So some of the recent wetlands are proposed to be added in the list. Classic, typical UPSC type question. You always have to know whenever there is a news item of wetlands, you need to find out where they are located. So match the following: Nanda Lake, Gujarat; Pala Wetland, Mizoram; Shujindram Therur, Tamil Nadu; the Satkosia Gorge, Rajasthan. Select the correct answer. Which of the following are correctly matched? Only one pair, only two pairs, only three pairs, and only all the four pairs. Which of the following are right? So let's check the answers. What is the answer? Let's check it. So all these are going, if selected, all these can be added in the Ramsar list. So obviously when such news items come, it's very important that we read and find out this. Let's check the answer. The answer is only two pairs. So what are the two pairs? Let's check it out. The Nanda Lake is not in Gujarat. The Pala wetland is in Mizoram. The Shujindram Therur is in Tamil Nadu. So this article, why they came up. India aims to have 75 Ramsar sites on 75th anniversary of independence. And Ramsar site is obviously a wetland under the Ramsar Convention, an international treaty that was signed in 1971 in Tehran. Iran is the word. Iran is important. And it seeks international conservation and protection of wetland resources. So let's see. The Tamil Nadu sites include Chitrangudi, which is very important, because having a remembrance is important. They can be asked. Chitrangudi, the Kuntankulam, Vadavur, Vellod, Kanjirakulam, and Vedathangal, Karikili, Shujindran Therur, Vembannur, Pichavaram Mangrove, Pallikkarane Marsh, Gulf of Mannar, Marine Biosphere, all these are Tamil Nadu. If you happen to see, you need to have a remembrance of eliminating. The Satkosia, Tampara, Hirakud and Ansupa is in Odisha. It's in Odisha. The Sirpur, the Sakhya, Yashwant Sagar is in Madhya Pradesh. The Haigam, Shalbag in Jammu Kashmir. Thane Creek in Maharashtra. Nanda Lake was in Goa. The Pala Wetland in Mizoram. And the Ranganathitu Bird Sanctuary in Karnataka. So, it's very difficult to remember all this, but you need to have an idea. If you see these names, you should ring a bell and you should be able to eliminate the answer. So the answer was obviously Nanda and Satkosia. Nanda was in Goa and Satkosia was in Orissa. That was the false statement. So read more about Ramsar sites and find the more places. And now we have come to the end of this test series, and for more such areas, subscribe to our channel Learn IAS Current Affairs by LearnStroke IAS. And for a strategic civil service preparation, follow LearnStroke IAS page and Learn IAS Current Affairs channel. And you want a question paper, the question paper is actually given in the description. You can just click it and download the PDF of the question papers and see the answers for explanations. So share it with your friends, like, subscribe the page and share it with your friends who are preparing for civil services. Thank you so much.